So one of the great things about this show, Jim, is there's a genie for that, as you know.
Uh-huh.
And why don't you show us?
Okay.
Give us a demo of AI actually doing the heavy lifting.
So when we talk about AI doing the heavy lifting for writing a book, what would be what in your mind would be the heaviest part, the hardest part of actually writing a book? Now, let's say you wanted to write a 10 chapter book. What's the hardest part of that whole thing when you cut right down to it?
Finishing the book.
Writing the book.
Yeah,
It-
right.
It's not even about
Yeah.
finishing the book, it's writing the book. It's writing the freaking chapters. So, what if there was a genie to write the chapters for your book? Not in, I mean, to write a chapter for your book is going to take you a couple, 3 hours if you were going to do it manually. Okay.
Sure.
Sit down, type up 10 pages. Most people to type up a 10-page chapter, it's going to take them at least an hour or two. I mean, back to uh, college and high school, 10 pages take you all semester. So what if we could create a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-page chapter in about a minute and a half? That first draft,
That'd
which
be very helpful.
so for some people, the first draft's the best draft. So let's come over here and I'm going to show you one of the genies that we have for writing a book. This is the FAQ book chapter writing genie. So we have the mistakes book chapter writing genie, the FAQ book chapter writing genie. We're going to have additional chapter writing genies with the next iteration of write your book that we're doing. So, but this is one for writing a chapter based on a question. So I'm going to actually just load one,
Hmm.
and this is all based around the avatar. So you can load your avatar. Software will help you come up with the stuff to ask. But basically, we're going to write a chapter for a book targeting entrepreneurial professionals, decoding DISC, understanding the four communication styles that drive success. What's the actual question we're answering in this? What's their main focus in this chapter? Next question in the next chapter, we're going to choose our writing variables: authoritative, concise, entrepreneur magazine, and DISC style DC. So now we click build, and we're going to first write the main chapter content. So what this is doing is literally writing the chapter content based on my avatar, based on my questions. And so now it's written about 336 words. If we're cool with that, now we're going to write the rest of the stuff to go in the chapter. So we're going to write a transition from the main body to a checklist. Then we're going to have it write bullets, end of chapter summary bullets. We're going to have it create a checklist. So we'll just do a how-to checklist, and then literally we're going to write all the parts of this chapter. And it takes longer for me to talk about it than it does to actually do it. So we're going to have it create a hypothetical case study. You don't have to use all these things, but we're going to have it talk about mistakes to avoid, number one piece of advice, and we'll have it create a quote for the beginning of the chapter, and we can even do a quiz based on the chapter. So now, and then we'll do a transition to the next chapter. So what is this doing? What are we doing here? Well, we're creating a chapter based on the building blocks that go into a chapter that's in an FAQ book. So now I can download all of these parts assembled into a chapter. And you can see down here, I've written a 9-page chapter. This is page 1 of 9. Trying to get my stuff in there. So here we go. So it found some quotes for me. It did bullets to summarize the beginning. I've got the main body of the chapter. I've got a checklist. I've got some examples. I've got a case study. I've got typical mistakes and how to avoid them. Number one piece of advice, summary of the thing, and a quiz on what we taught in the chapter. So now, instead of having to spend hours creating that first draft, I can spend about 30 to 45 minutes editing this thing to make it amazing and put my soul into it. And when we talk about putting your soul into it, this is where you take ownership. And so when I talk about putting your soul into something, this is where you're going to add your stories, you're going to add your opinions, you're going to add your unique perspective, and pretty much you're just going to breathe life into it
Mm.
from your experience. So that's how you can use these genies to just help you crush it when it comes to writing your book. And that's just one of a whole suite of genies that we have to help people to write real books. Now, the cool thing is that you might say, "Oh, I probably wouldn't want a checklist in my, uh, in my chapter. Maybe I don't want a quiz at the end." Fine, it's your book. You can put in whatever you want. You can put in as much or as little as you want. It's that's the beauty of this process is we give you the tools, we teach you how to write the tools. I mean, how to use the tools. We walk you through the process, but it's your book. It's your world. You get to do and create whatever you want in it. And that's the beauty of writeyourbook.ai. And so this is just another reason why you need to join us inside of writeyourbook.ai. We've got special pricing going on right now. Absolutely best time to join, best time to get involved, best time to get started, because this next live training is going to be the best one yet. So if you're not in writeyourbook.ai yet, there's a link around here somewhere. You definitely need to be a part of what we got going on.